Say, man, for those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. We're gonna get to that other shit in a minute. But first, just vibe. See, everything is vibration. It's time to catch the right one. It's about that time to just open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. Like this motherfucking beat right here. It's that simple. One time. Who the fuck do I think I am? I'm him. I'm that. Around here. See, I was raised up by parents where, you know, being cool was of the utmost importance. You know what I'm saying? We had this mom with this Pisces sun, this Leo moon. Then I got this daddy who is a Gemini sun, Capricorn moon. You know what I'm saying? My older brother's a Gemini, my other older brother's a Taurus. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Cancer. My little sister, one's a Sagittarius, one's a Gemini. Sagittarius with a Virgo moon and a Gemini with a Pisces moon, like myself. You know what I'm saying? And they both hell. I love them all with all my heart. That's where I came from. I'm like the culmination. You know what I'm saying? I had one, you know, my grandfather on my mother's side. My grandfather on my mother's side was a Marine. My grandmother was a music teacher. Okay. My grandfather on my father's side, he was the pastor of the church, you know. And my grandmother, she passed on when my father was 7. And she was, you know, the head church lady. And so here I am, talking, teaching, preaching with y'all. Yeah. So what it was, y'all should already know who it is. If not, here I go. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, man, this ain't shit but some cosmic insight, y'all. And, you know, this one is a trip, bro. You know, this one is a combination of two of the things we've been talking about this week, the last week and this week, man. This right here, man, this is a little something about those people that have Uranus in the 12th house of their natal chart. And before we actually get into all of that, what we're going to do first is I'm gonna bring y'all a little information as to what Uranus is in astrology, what that's all about and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm gonna give y'all a little talk on what the 12th house of the astrological chart is actually all about. Then after that, we're gonna bring it to a culmination, man. We're gonna bam, climax. So I'm gonna stop playing. I'm probably not gonna stop playing, but we're gonna jump into this shit, okay? So for me, man, Uranus is like the cosmic alarm clock and shit. And that's because, big shocks and surprises are in store wherever it shows up in the chart, man. It's the planet of triggering events and breakthroughs that we don't expect. And, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, whether a lot of people know it or not. And that really means that it really relates to the genius streak in each one of us, man. And for a lot of us astrologers, Uranus is known as the awakener because of the way that its aspects and its transits bring sudden changes and shocks, man. And along with Saturn, Uranus co-rules the 11th house and the sign of Aquarius. And it can really bring brilliant innovation, man, and sudden upheaval, which can sometimes be a necessary break from the motherfucking norm. Yeah. And when we're talking about the sign placement of Uranus, it stays in a sign for about 7 years, man. So that's definitely considered a generational planet. And in that aspect, that means that it'll, kind of have a similar impression on a lot of those folks that were born in that time frame with it under that sign. But when we talk about the house placement, yeah, that's where it gets personal. And that's what we're going to talk about now. And that shows where your brilliance is. Yeah. And that shows what area of life, are most prone to sudden flashes of genius and crazy upheavals, and also where you're just different. And the aspects show where shit gets interesting and where you might be in for some fucking cosmic surprises. For instance, say, man, you get stuck in a job that you fucking hate and that ain't a part of your motherfucking spiritual path. Well, Uranus gonna come through and get your ass fired, or, tank the company, or even worse, burn that motherfucker down. Yeah. That's Uranus, man. And, I also want y'all to know that, when you hit about age 40, transit Uranus is going to be opposing your natal Uranus. And that time, when you have this Uranus opposition, that's like coinciding with that dreaded midlife crisis that a lot of people be talking about, man. And really what that is that, it's Uranus helping you break free from the shackles that have been keeping you from fulfilling your true destiny if you haven't been doing that. So with Uranus, my motto that I always want to tell y'all is, stay woke or get woke the fuck up. Real talk. And so when we talk about the 12th house of the astrological chart, man, this is the murky realm of Pisces, man. And it's ruled by the planets of Neptune and also Jupiter in a way too, man. And what we find here refers to the unconscious, the hidden, the fantasy, the past life, as well as all the things that are beyond this physical plane of existence, your dreams. You get what I'm saying? That dreamland, what goes on beyond that, the spiritual plane, man. It can also be, associated with any periods of confinement and anything that has to do with your self-undoing. Yeah. I also call it the house of karma. And the planets in this house, they, pretty much indicate functions that are hidden from your conscious personality or are expressed in terms of psychic faculty or, self-sacrifice. So this one's there. And so when we're talking about, putting Uranus in the 12th house, man, let me tell you, man, the one thing to keep in mind here is that, any fucking planet placed in the 12th, they're never easy to fucking deal with, man. With this being Uranus, it's going to make it that much more fucking worse, man. And that's just being real. These people have a really rough time owning their own uniqueness, man. And, you have to be really very, very careful with them too, because, when you're handling a person that has Uranus in this placement, man, these people are going to be very unpredictable, man. And you can never know what kind of shit goes through their mind or what type of reaction you're going to get if you, come at them like that. Like, so it's rough, man. Like, this placement often makes a motherfucker feel like they don't belong in this noisy world. And so they can end up constantly feeling fucking alienated. And, you know, this placement also suggests that people around them, you know, were real quick to fucking judge them, man. And that, you know, their environment, you know, doesn't embrace their individuality. And that's always hard, man. It's that what I mean by that also is definitely when they were younger, man. This is when I'm talking about when they were younger, man. This motherfucker here is hard to understand though, because I mean, and really that's if possible at all, because the 12th house takes place between two different fucking worlds. Understand that. And the 12th house, you know, it's between this present reality and the spiritual realm, or this fantasy land that some create also. There could be several worlds going on, you know, and, you know, and then you have this shit going on with this collective subconscious and, you know, divine inspiration too, man, that they might have going on that they might not know how to deal with. That might be extremely frightening to them. And then if they try to talk to somebody about it, you know, they alienated them. Like, man, move around with that weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't understand it or they didn't have those experiences. So when people can't relate to you or you have an experience that seems to be ethereal that they didn't experience, the first thing they want to do is call you a lie and shut you down. So when you do that to these type of people, man, you know, it fucks with them, man. You know, 12th house Uranus people, you know, they usually find the topics of the 12th house, you know, an underlying issue in their whole fucking life, man, in their whole lives, man. But being able to deal with it is a whole nother thing. Cause, you know, on one hand, this placement can lead you to, you know, a deep, deep discovery of unconditional love, but the road's gonna get crazy. You got to understand that, man. Or, you know, on the other hand, you know, it can also lead to illusions and, you know, escapism of all kinds. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be drugs, alcohol, all that stuff, you know, really escapism, suicide, you know what I'm saying? Self-harm, like all kinds of stuff. And does that mean that's always going to happen? No, but that's something that you need to be paying attention to. And, you know, let's just take it back and try to get to the root of it, though. Because, you know, what I've seen with this one is that the parents, you know, they kind of expected a child with a different personality than what they got with this kid, man. And so this kid felt like they had to fake the motherfucking funk to live up to their expectations. But deep down, they were probably struggling inside because, you know, they felt like nobody gives a fuck about who they really are, or nobody even knows them. And then they don't get to know themselves or get to know even what to expect. So, you know, they have deemed their own, you know, individuality as some weird shit that doesn't fit within their self. So they struggle with it, which, you know, that's just so hard, man. That's so hard, man. You know, the 12th house also really, you know, speaks of selfless service. I want y'all to understand that when I think of it. And, you know, unconditional love. And with Uranus here, you know, they kind of struggle expressing that, to be honest. They often come across as awkward when they're trying to display compassion, man. And they don't mean it like that. It's out of love. It's just how they're coming across. And, you know, especially when they were younger. You know, a lot of this they learn how to deal with. And, you know, these are definitely usually more introverted people. These are some of the most introverted people that there are, man. And, you know, they try to avoid being in the spotlight if they can at all costs, man. And when I see this in a chart, I'm going to tell you now, it suggests to me that they were probably denied the right to be who they really are for whatever reason, man. So, you know, it kind of manifests in an often, you know, person who feels ashamed because of their own uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? And it also suggests that, you know, despite whatever might be going on at the surface, you know, they have an immensely rich inner life. That's something I'm going to know off the rip, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're probably extremely intelligent. I mean, maybe genius, man. Especially, you know, if Uranus is making contact with Mercury or the sun. Like, I'm going to know right off the rip that I'm dealing with somebody who is mentally adept. Extremely, man. However, you know what I'm saying? I can also say that they're probably often, scared to let anybody know how brilliant they really are, man. And, let me tell you right now that channeling this Uranus in the 12th house in a constructive way is like probably one of the most imperative things they're going to have to do in their life, because this energy can really bring about sudden disasters, man. This, if it's untethered, man, like if connected with electricity, you got to understand Uranus, man. And for that reason, if you don't set this shit free, man, in a controlled way, it's going to shock your ass. It's going to shock your ass. Real talk, man. And that electric energy of Uranus, it often makes motherfuckers very nervous too. I'm going to tell you. And these are the type of people that are kind of on edge, and that's why they kind of take a step back, man. And sometimes Uranus here can make a motherfucker very accident prone too, man. So, these are people that are going to have to try to be extra on point. But more than anything else, what I see is a person whose behavior can be, really chaotic and erratic, but it really just stems from a whole person being inside of them that they themselves are aware of, but have never even met. And that's utterly begging to fucking be freed. And whether or not that individual with this placement actually frees that part of themselves, that's another battle within itself, man. Like, they have some mental struggles going on, man. To sum it up though, y'all, 12th house Uranus, man, these motherfuckers feel like they're the most free when they're on their own. And they tend to express their uniqueness by and when retreating from this world. And, when they can find a place where they can feel safe and comfortable, then, be in their own little, la la land or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Or be connected to the divine within themselves, man. And when they do that, they can find amazing inspiration. I'm going to tell you, people with this placement, these are some more that are going to be intensely creative, and, they can create and invent the most amazing things for the simple fact that, Uranus thinks outside the box, man. And the 12th house is all about fantasy and divine inspiration, man. And they just need a lot of time by themselves to find that. You get what I'm saying? And lastly, I've seen with this placement that, this typically can mean having some crazy ass dreams and some irregular ass sleeping patterns, insomnia too, man. So there's also that you got to be dealing with. But the most important thing to remember when I'm talking to y'all is, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. You don't have to feed into the negativity. We all have all this energy available to us in our chart. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. Understand? And hey, that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And it's just been some priceless knowledge of self. I appreciate all the love and support, man. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com, man. Hey, man, y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. If y'all listen to this, man, and y'all ain't subscribed, man, you gotta learn. Subscribe. If you listen to this and you like it a little, you like the video a little bit, but I get on your nerves, man, come on, man, do yourself a favor and still fuck with it. Don't let my ego get in the way. And hey, man, if you really ain't feeling the video, but you just came to watch me, that's okay too. Because eventually you gonna get the message. Because this physical, it don't mean shit. We talking about the soul here. Okay? It's all fun and games. I like to make y'all smile, but we talking about positive growth, character development, man, and self-awareness. We're talking about accountability, because that's my greatest strength. Okay? I thank everybody for everything, man. Y'all keep it cracking, man, like a bag of pork skins. We'll be back tomorrow, man. I love y'all.